my phone. Okay. All set.
This is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond.
Chapter 7, text 19. Bahamanam.
Wait, are we on 19 or 20?
We're on 19?
Sue, do you know if we're on 24 or 19?
Hold on, I can tell you in 1 minute. I was looking at it from a different 24.
Yeah, I think we're on 24.
Yeah.
Failure number 1 of the day. Okay. Chapter 7, text 24. Avakatam yatin apanam manyate man abuhaya param bhavan amananto mama yaman aman. Unintelligent men who know me not think that I have assumed this form and personality. Due to their small knowledge, they do not know my higher nature, which is changeless and supreme. Those who are worshippers of demigods have been described as less intelligent persons, and there are impersonalists are similarly described. Lord Krishna in his personal form is here speaking before Arjuna. And still due to ignorance, impersonalists argue that the Supreme Lord ultimately has no form. Yaman Akara, a great devotee of the Lord in the disciplic succession from Ramanujakara, has written 2 very appropriate verses of this connection. He says, "My dear Lord devotees, like Vaisadeva and Narada, know you to be personality of Godhead. By understanding different Vedic literatures, one can come to know your own characteristics, your form, and your activities, and one thus understands that you are the supreme personality of Godhead. But those who are in the modes of passion and ignorance, the demons, the non-devotees cannot understand you. They are unable to understand you. However, expert such non-devotees may be in discussing Vedanta and Upanishads and other Vedic literatures, is not possible for them to understand the personality of Godhead." In the Brahma Samhita is stated that the personality of Godhead cannot be understood simply by study of Vedanta literature. Only by the mercy of Supreme Lord can the personality of the Supreme be known. Therefore, in this verse, it is clearly stated that not only the worshippers of the demigods are less intelligent, but those non-devotees who are engaged in Vedanta and speculation of the Vedic literature without any tinge of true Krishna consciousness are also less intelligent, and for them it is not possible to understand God's personal nature. Persons who are under the impression that the absolute truth is impersonal are described as asuras, which means one who does not know the ultimate feature of the absolute truth. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is stated that supreme realization begins from the impersonal Brahman and then rises to the localized supersoul. But the ultimate word of the absolute truth in the personality of Godhead, modern impersonalists are still less intelligent, for they do not follow their great predecessor, Shramkarara, who has specifically stated that the Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Impersonalists, therefore, not knowing the supreme truth, think that Krishna is to be the only son of Devaki and Vasudeva, or a prince, or a powerful living entity. This is also condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Only the fools regard me as an ordinary person. The fact that no one can understand Krishna without rendering devotional service and without developing Krishna consciousness. The Gita confirms this. One cannot understand the supreme personality of the Godhead Krishna from his own form, quality, or name simply by mental speculation or by discussing the Vedic literature, or one must understand him by devotional service. When one is fully engaged in Krishna consciousness, beginning by chanting an Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. Then only can one understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Non-devotee impersonalists think that Krishna has a body made of material nature, and all that is his activities, his form, and everything are Maya. These impersonalists are known as Mayavadi. They do not know the ultimate truth. The 20th verse clearly states, those who are blinded by the lusty desires surrender unto the different demigods. It is accepted that besides the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there are demigods who have their different planets, and the Lord also has a planet. It is also stated that the worshippers of the demigods go to different planets of demigods, and those who are devotees of Lord Krishna go to the Krishna Loka planet. Although this is clearly stated, the foolish impersonalists still maintain that Lord is formless and that these forms are impositions. From the study of the Gita, does it appear that the demigods and the abodes are impersonal? Clearly, neither the demigods nor Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are impersonal. These are all persons. Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he has his own planet, and the demigods have theirs. Therefore, the monistic contention that ultimate truth is formless and that form is imposed does not hold true. It is clearly stated here that it is not imposed. From the Gita, we can clearly understand that the forms of the demigods and the form of the Supreme Lord are simultaneously existing, and that the Lord Krishna is a Sadik Ananda, eternal blissful knowledge. The Vedas also confirm that the supreme absolute truth is Anandamaya, or the full blissful pleasure, and that he is Abhya Asat, by nature of the reservoir of ultimate auspicious qualities. And the Gita, Gita, and in the Gita, the Lord says that although he is Aja, unborn, he still appears. These are facts that we should understand from the Gita. We cannot understand how the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be impersonal. The imposition theory of the impersonalist monist is false as far as the statements of the Gita are concerned. It is clear herein that the Supreme Absolute, Lord Krishna, has both form and personality. Text 25. Naham Brakasa Sarasha Yoga Maya Samavrata Madhuyam Ma Bijayanti Lokoman Ajam Ayavan. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent, and for them I am covered by my eternal creative potency. And so the deluded world knows me not, who am unborn and infallible. It may be argued that since Krishna was present on earth and was visible to everyone, then why isn't he manifest to everyone? But actually, he was not manifest to everyone. When Krishna was present, there were only a few people who could understand him to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the assembly of the Kurus, when Sipupala spoke against Krishna being elected president of the assembly, Bhishma supported him and proclaimed him to be the supreme God. Similarly, the Pandavas and the few others knew that he was supreme, but not everyone. He was not revealed to the non-devotees and the common man. Therefore, in the Gita, Krishna says that but for his pure devotees, all men considered him to be like himself. He was manifest only to his devotees as the reservoir of all pleasure, but to others, to unintelligent non-devotees, he was covered by his eternal potency. In the prayers of the Kunti in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that the Lord is covered by the curtain of Yoga Maya, and thus ordinary people cannot understand him. Kanti prays, O Lord, you are the maintainer of the entire universe, and the devotional service to you is the highest religious principle. Therefore, I pray that you will also maintain me. Your transcendental form is covered by Yoga Maya. The Brahma Gati is the covering of the eternal potency. May you kindly remove this glowing effulgence that impedes my seeing your Sadik Amada Burjaraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge. The Yoga Maya curtain is also mentioned in the 15th chapter of the Gita. The Supreme Personality of Godhead in his transcendental form of bliss and knowledge is covered by the eternal potency of Brahma Yati, and the less intelligent impersonalists cannot see the Supreme on this account. Also, the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a prayer by Brahma. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Super Soul, O Master of all mystery, can you calculate your potency and pastimes in this world? You are always expanding your eternal potency, and therefore no one can understand you. Learned scientists and learned scholars can examine by the atomic constitution of material world or even the planets, but still they are unable to calculate your energy and potency, although you are present before them. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is not the only unborn, but he is the Avaya, inexhaustible. His eternal form is bliss and knowledge, and his energies are all inexhaustible. Text 26. Vidaham sanyatitani bhatam ani karjuna bashvishvani ka bhutanti ma tu vida nan kaskana. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that have yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me, no one knows. Here's the question of personality and impersonality is clearly stated. If Krishna, the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is considered by the impersonalist to be Maya, to be material, then he would be the living entity, change his body, and forget everything in his past life. Anyone with material body cannot remember his past life, nor can he foretell his future life, nor can he predict the outcome of his present life. Therefore, he cannot know what is happening in the past, present, and future. Unless one is liberated from material contamination, he cannot know past, present, and future. Unlike the ordinary human being, Lord Krishna clearly says that he completely knows what happened in the past, what is happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. In the 4th chapter, we have seen that Lord Krishna remembers instructing Vibhashan, the sun god, millions of years ago. Krishna knows every living entity because he is situated in every living being's heart as the supreme soul. But despite his presence in every living entity as the supreme soul, super soul, and his presence beyond the material sky, the supreme personality of Godhead, the less intelligent, cannot realize him as the supreme person. Certainly, the transcendental body of Sri Krishna is not imperishable. He is just like the sun, and the Maya is like the cloud. In the material world, we can see that there is the sun and that there are clouds and different stars and planets. The clouds may cover all these in the sky temporarily, but this covering is also apparent to our own limited vision. The sun, the moon, and the stars are not actually covered. Similarly, Maya cannot cover the Supreme Lord, but by his internal potency, he is not manifest to the less intelligent of class of men. And it is stated that his 3rd verse of this chapter, out of millions and millions of men, some tried to come perfect in his human form of life, and out of the thousands and thousands of such perfected men, hardly one can understand that Lord Krishna is. Even if one is perfected by realization of impersonal Brahman or localized Brahmamatma, he cannot possibly understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna without being Krishna in Krishna consciousness. It's 8:00. Should I read one more, or this one's short? Yeah. Text
go ahead.
27. Okay. Ika divisa samutana davandva mohina bharata sara bhutani samaham sarvanti parantapa. O scion of Bharatata Arjuna, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, overcome by the dualities of desire and hate. The real constitutional position of living entity is that of the subordination of the Supreme Lord, who is pure knowledge. When one is deluded into separation from pure knowledge, he becomes controlled by illusory energy and cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The illusory energy is also manifested in the duality of desire and hate. Due to desire and hate, the ignorant people who want to become one with Supreme Lord and envies Krishna and the personality of Godhead. Pure devotees who are not so deluded or contaminated by desire and hate can understand that the Lord Krishna appears by internal potencies, but those who are deluded by duality and non-science think that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is created by material energies. This is their misfortune. Such deluded persons systematically dwell in dualities of dishonor and honor, misery and happiness, woman and man, good and bad, pleasure and pain, etc. Thinking, this is my wife, this is my house, I am the master of my house, I am the husband of my wife. These are the dualities of delusion. Those who are so deluded by dualities are completed foolish and therefore cannot understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah, that illusion is a big trip.
Yeah,
It's hard to exit that.
one of the quotes was so close to what from the Catholic religion, what Jesus says about that he knows everything you do, the past, the present, and the future, and all that stuff. So that was interesting. And the coming to Krishna was in man form at some point too. Did I read that correctly or understand that correctly?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah. Okay. It's just interesting, the parallels.
Yeah. There's all these stories where they say they incarnate just to see what life is like, what it's like to love and play and all that stuff.
It's really so much like the Marvel movies.
Like the what?
The Marvel superhero movies. It's like freaking me out. But it's like the Marvel movies are so much like this, but it's really like they must have read, like, there's reason why that superhero movies were made. I want to watch them again, but like thinking about like a creature will come and then it'll morph into something else, like in the movies, or the different planets they all come from. I don't know them all that well. I just like watching them for fun, but
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like all those stories are based on
so,
this kind of stuff. Like even Avatar, Avatar is like in Star Wars, and
yeah,
they're all like Vedic
a
stories.
whole other perspective to watch the movies. You just watch them. For me, like it was just like silly fun, like a comic book, like
Right.
tricking us into learning this stuff, I guess.
Well, it appeals to like the nature of, I don't know, it appeals to our inner nature.
Mm.
We're all the hero or heroine of our own stories.
Yeah.
It's true. But I don't know if I was thinking along the same lines. I was thinking it appeals to our inner nature because everybody wants a superhero who can solve insolvable problems. This week alone, I ran into two situations where there were people in trouble, and I could and can do virtually nothing to help them. Nothing. Nor can I think, I'm old, I got a bunch of contacts, I have some information in my head, a couple of referrals, but nothing, it's not going to work. And I know it, at least I sort of know it. So you sort of wish that there would be a superhero who could sweep in and say magic words to fix it up, make it all better. That would be nice.
There's a movie I love with Mandy Moore. It's very old. It's called A Walk to Remember. It's a Nicholas Sparks book.
Yeah, good one.
It was so sad, that movie.
What?
It was so sad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is sad.
It is sad, but it's also like hopeful. I mean,
Sweet.
she's very sick. She has, I think, leukemia. And
They always have leukemia, Pam. You could just.
I know, I wasn't even gonna say it, but I'm like, we can't, like, it's real. That's what she had. She was in high school and she was kind of a loner. I mean, it's obviously a fiction story, but I hope more people, you hear these stories of like the popular kid asking the not popular kid to prom, like it's like cute stories, like inspiring stories. But this young man gets in trouble and he has to start volunteering at the center, and he knows this girl his entire life, and he finally starts talking to her, and long story, they fall in love, or he falls in love with her, and her dream is to, her number one wish is to get married in her mom's church, the church her mom got married in, and they do that. And then 5 years later, you know, or whatever years later, she passes away, and he goes back to visit her dad. And she's like, I just wish I could have, her number one wish was to experience a miracle, I think. Or that's what she wrote in her yearbook quote. And her dad said, you were her miracle. And so like sometimes we think we're not helping people, but we really are, just by listening to them. And you know, like we may not be able to solve all their problems, but we are helping more. We're putting too much pressure on ourselves. So maybe just by, like, that's what I was talking about the other day, that idea of like prayer, of like concentrating on them for meditation or something is helpful to them. So, but it is a very hard feeling to feel that helpless towards somebody. But
Yeah.
just being there for them is enough.
I don't know if it's enough, but if it's all you can do, then that's what you can do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like if it's all we can do, then that's what we have to be comfortable with. Like, and that's hard. But on the other side of it too, like if we know when we're stuck with something, just having someone there is enough. Like when we're the ones suffering. So.
Yeah, that's true. Just having somebody listen is usually enough. I have that problem a lot at work because a lot of like, you know, it's a male dominated field that I'm in. So a lot of the younger women come to me with their problems, and I'm just like, sometimes you just can't help them all.
Yeah.
There's too many.
Yeah.
You must get that too. I mean, in the finance, so that must be male dominated.
I would have said that. I would say that in my younger years, but JP Morgan is a whole nother atmosphere and culture. And I have to say it's not as bad as Bear was. And I don't know, the firm itself wasn't, even when I moved over in 2008, but I don't know if the industry is changing. Although I saw something, I don't know how much this is true, but I feel like it could be true that COVID has really lost a lot of women in the workforce just in general.
Yeah, it has been. There's been a lot of articles about that. They're calling it a C session.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
This is one of those one step forward, two step back years for rights and women's empowerment.
Yeah.
But you know, there are other years coming up. So.
Well, we got to figure out a way for women to get back into the workforce and balance their lives.
Childcare.
Yeah, that's childcare.
Like that's what happened. Everyone I know like ended up having to walk away from their work in some capacity because they were the ones who had to take over the childcare.
Right.
So like I almost gave up multiple times. Pam knows, she had to talk me off the ledge a couple of times because it was just like so hard. You just can't do it all and be it all. It's impossible. It's like a full-time job in itself to take care of a child, and then, you know, doing any other job when like there's like no help, you know, everyone had to quarantine. You couldn't get any help. It was wild.
Not even just children though. I mean, I was talking to someone about this past week, just in general, being a caregiver, whether it's a parent, elderly parent, or a lot of families, not only did they have to come home and take care of their children, but they're also taking care of their elderly parents, because now their elderly parents can't get to the supermarket, or you know, like they can't, like, I know with our situation here is Eric's dad needs in-home care, and we didn't want to bring someone in home during COVID. So he's one of those, I forget what they're calling them, but like a victim of COVID, like a indirect victim of COVID. There's like a term for it. I can't remember what it is. Like he didn't have COVID, but he's still like being affected by it.
Right.
Well, because we can't, hopefully soon. But this caregiver, like, there's a book I read about it. I mean, it's just a very Kramer's on his blanket wagging his tail. Do you see?
Hilarious. That dog is so hilarious.
I see that little
He When you were reading, he kept wagging his tail. I wanted to record it. So funny. You like really loved today's reading.
Love today's reading. Loved your voice.
Maybe there's a word that sounds like his name.
Anyway, yeah. It's funny. Kramer makes me laugh. But yeah, being a caregiver is a very underrated, underappreciated role, whether you're paid for it or not, because even people that are paid for it, like nursing home staff, who are completely underpaid.
Yeah.
So it's a really hard job.
That's what happens when men are in charge.
Oh, he's doing it.
It's true. It's like if you look at these countries where women are like in charge, it's like it's blissful, you know. You get off 2 years to take care of your children, full pay. You get, you know, everyone has health care. Nothing's gonna, like, you know, the rug's not gonna be pulled out from underneath you if you try to have a family. Like in France, they have free creche. It's like free childcare from like 6 months on until they go to nursery school, and it's all day, you know.
Sense. That all makes so much sense.
Right, because there's like women who are, you know, making it a point of saying like it's impossible, but like Americans just can't get it together. Like
I don't even know how. Like, I get the time off after having a baby, but I honestly don't even know how women commute while being pregnant. I mean, it is insane watching and I've watched many women come to the office 9 months pregnant.
Or what about the people you see on the train or the bus with their kid that they're bringing to daycare? That I'm always like, oh my God, that's just amazing to me.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah.
For my first pregnancy, I was in labor going home on the Long Island Railroad. There were no seats. Nobody gave me a seat. Actually, it probably worked out better physically that I stood up all the way home, you know.
Oh my God.
But and I didn't realize, you know, first kid, you know, I wasn't sure it was labor. I thought maybe it was just a stomach upset or something like that. And I will never forget that, because it was the only people while I was pregnant who gave me seats were women.
Yep.
Women. And I tried to teach my sons, but, and their father was always very good, you know, like this. He always gave older people seats, etc. The one time that Lee did not give up a seat was he had just come out of surgery where half his hand was amputated. And he was, you know, and he was 6. So.
Yeah. I will say though, and I don't know.
It's amazing.
I think a lot of it is that Maya, that illusion, like these people, and I know because I was a commuter, like you get on that train and you put your horse blinders on and you have your seat and you get your book and you don't look at anyone else. So it doesn't even dawn on people to like, okay, let me look around to see if anybody else needs my seat. Like it doesn't even.
Yeah, I think that's true sometimes. Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't think that people saw you and were like, I'm not giving that pregnant lady my seat. Maybe some people did. I don't know. Like some people are just mean, but I think a lot.
I don't know. I mean, this was one of those Friday night trains, and the train was so packed.
Yeah.
And I was actually propped up by the people around me, so it all worked out.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, it was. But I will never forget that. And I had a fast delivery, and I have a feeling that might have helped. So I ain't complaining.
Oh, the shaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's do some breath
Anyway.
and move into our meditation. It's Friday, yay!
Yay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
I'm going to be living with Eric's dad for a week, so I'll have a different background next week.
Are you going to be at his house, or is he coming to your house?
No, we have to go to his house. He won't leave.
Okay. So
and I want to make him comfortable. So we're going there, and it'll be fine. It's temporary, and we can do hard things. And I don't want him to be alone. And you know, I was talking to Ashley yesterday, the Carmi at Rev, who I just love. I wanted to.
She's very cool.
What?
She's very cool.
Yeah, Amanda, I have to give her so much props for how much cleaning she does in that studio, and she kept it super safe this whole time. She's just so on top of things, at least from my point of view. Who knows the inside point of view? But she reminded me, she's like, no one should be alone during these times. And it's true. So We're gonna go spend a week there.
Very
And I'm
nice.
gonna have Kramer and my other little puppy Lucy. So I'll have 2 dogs on either side of me.
You'll be happy. You
Yeah,
will
I'll
be
be
so
happy.
happy.
And I can still do my yoga, and that's my favorite part. I can bring yoga everywhere with me now.
Yes.
All right, sit up nice and tall. Take a few breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Relax the shoulders and the face. Try to watch the breath as you inhale, filling up the low belly, and then exhale, letting all the air out. And bring your right hand over to your nose. Close the right nostril with the thumb. Inhale through the left. Close left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Close left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Close right. Exhale left. Continuing on your own breath, adding locks and retention if it's in your practice. When you feel done, you'll exhale out the left side. I'm going to start the timer. You'll join us when you're ready. Oops. bringing your hands to your heart center. Namaste.
Namaste, Pam. Have a good
Have a good
weekend
day.
and see you next week.
Yes, you too.
Bye, Amanda. Have a good one.